Hi, Tommy. Hi, everyone. This is another episode of Resurge The Spike ATL presented to you by FILA Sports podcast. Any news regarding Atlanta sports, go check them out. Subscribe on Facebook, share, like our comment, and please, any comments, we'll get back to you. If for whatever reason we're not able to see them on the live, we'll still get back to you. Tommy, welcome once again.
2-game winning streak.
Yeah, man. We'll go ahead and start. You weren't here last week. We'll go ahead and start with the Columbus game, and then we'll talk about the LA game this past Sunday. Your first thoughts about the whole, picking up that whole momentum with these two games. Do you see the team, playing better? Do you see a change in attitude?
The change with Rob Valentino has just been night and day. They're working harder, and it just seems like they're having fun again. Atlanta United was always about fun for such a long time. You looked at these guys and the relationships that they had with the earlier teams, and it seemed like it was great. And you look at the last couple of years. I mean, losing isn't fun. No matter what you're doing, losing in a board game sucks. So apparently, working, out every single day to lose, pretty much almost the last two seasons. This is the first 2-game winning streak since last year at the beginning of the year. They started off the season 2-0. So, they're having fun. They're getting results. They're getting chances. They're not getting out chanced as much. They got open space, and your guys that are playing that are supposed to have a little bit more creativity are having that creativity, which I don't think. Oh, there's an Inter Miami post comment in here. Oh no, not Inter
I saw
Miami.
that. I saw that. Yeah, Choo Choo. Over here, Inter Miami fan.
Oh boy.
We'll see
Well,
them
hello.
in a couple of weeks.
But yeah, they're having fun, and they're getting results now. Undefeated in 3 games. The Columbus game, from what I remember that I was at, was a great time. They have a great new stadium, so if anybody gets an opportunity to come out to Ohio, Cincinnati and Columbus have fantastic new stadiums. So it was a good game. There was some very questionable calls all around that happened. Penalties, offside calls. All the offside calls happened on the other side of the stadium that I was at, so I couldn't really tell exactly how close they were to offsides. But it was a good game, and when you beat the defending champions who have been struggling, that's great. And then we move on to Inter Miami. I'm thinking of Choo Choo here.
Yeah.
Thinking of LAFC. Um, that game was fun. I thought it was going to be a little bit more wide open. I thought that we were going to see maybe 3-4 goals in that game. But it's two struggling teams playing, and we ended up getting a lucky chance, a lucky pass that got through, and get it to Joseph, and 2 wins in a row, baby.
What it really looked to me, it has been obviously the change in attitude when it came down to the players, but something that Joseph said in the interview, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday, he said, they have a little bit more freedom. When it comes to playing on the field, something that I don't know, Heinze was just, he was trying to implement a system that, was not what the players are accustomed to or what their abilities are, but overall, I feel like the last two games have really shown a much more positive attitude when it comes down to duels being won. I saw especially last game against LAFC, there was a lot of recoveries in the midfield area to where you didn't really see that when in the first couple of games under Heinz. I feel like when even to what Gonzalo Pineda has said, not much is gonna change from the team. I feel like tactically, he's really not gonna move too many pieces around or stuff like that. It really comes down to him, bringing out like or making the good qualities from the players, like stand out more. But yes, the last two games have been solid, honestly. The first one, there was a couple, mistakes defensively that caused penalty. But now, honestly, we look, Atlanta United has a really favorable schedule. We only have like 4 games that are away. One against Philadelphia and one against Montreal, which you could say are probably the biggest, rivals when it comes to like this last stretch. We have Inter
DC.
Miami. DC is one, coming up this weekend. But other than that, it looks like a pretty favorable schedule, for Atlanta to actually, have a shot at making the playoffs.
If you can get a win today, DC plays number 1 New England tonight. If DC loses, the way things are supposed to happen, and Atlanta wins, then DC and Atlanta, if Atlanta beats DC, they're tied. And right now, DC's in the 6th spot. So there's absolutely an opportunity here to win, but they're going to need to just keep winning and keep getting results. Some draws here and there are going to be important, but you're playing teams that are above you. You play a lot of them that are going to be above you too. You still have another matchup versus Orlando. This one I'll be at the Benz, but you're gonna have there's a lot of games to play here. The one thing that we are going to miss out on here that'll eventually be online, but we'll lose some players to World Cup qualification games, probably, which includes Joseph and probably Miles and maybe Guzan. But we have these players that are performing very well. You look at the Columbus game, Joseph doesn't play. Moreno has possibly one of his better games in a uniform, just creating chances left and right. Barco is playing very well. Bello's been playing extremely well. Bello has improved every game since coming back
Yeah.
from the Gold Cup. He's in that I keep thinking LAFC game. He just looks like he's grown so much. He nutmegged a guy, threw him to the ground, and just went straight to goal. George Bello 2 years ago can't and doesn't do that. It's impressive to see him improve going forward. The question is, will he be here next year? I don't know, but we're seeing improvement from this entire squad, and you can tell that they continue to play for Rob. The first thing they did was the thing that I paid attention to at that game in Columbus was, when they knew that there were seconds left in that game, they all immediately ran straight to Rob to give him a hug because that was his first win in MLS. And they did the same thing when they won against LAFC. They like Rob, and he's sticking with the club. And your new shiny coach is coming in, I think tomorrow. I think that's when he's allowed to join the team after his COVID recovery
Thursday.
quarantine that he's in. So he'll be on the sidelines on Saturday in DC. So you could really go on a run here. And next week, you look at it, you got a whole week off with your new coach. And you can fix the little things. And like you said, they're not going to change a lot of things, but there's some little things that can get fixed. How many goals have been happening off free kicks?
Set
That
pieces
goal that
have
was
really killed us. Set pieces, I mean, corners. You look at the first goal that came from Columbus, which was a corner, which was almost basically the same type of goal that they scored back in the Benz as well when we played Columbus as well. So yeah, set pieces are something that definitely has to be worked on defensively, and even offensively. I mean, we're not a team that really scores many goals from set pieces either. So it really goes both ways.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the main things they have to work on immediately because, when specifically Atlanta goes down goals, it's hard for them to recover. It's been hard for them to recover since the start of this franchise. So they're going to need to get that figured out. But you get that figured out, and you throw in some little things to get Joseph open, and you've got Araujo,
Araujo, yeah.
maybe. Yeah, him. He's going to be coming in, so you're going to be able to figure out some ways to get more creativity to get Joseph the ball or whoever's playing striker. I am in the firm belief that Joseph does not play today. I think that he recovers, and if he's needed at the end of the game, then have him come in. But
It
either way,
wouldn't. I mean, it would be a smart move because, like you said, I mean, he did look winded out. I mean, before they took him out, the last run he did before they took him out, you could tell he was. I mean, he was done. He was out of breath.
well, and he had his leg
But
taped up. He had ice on it, and it was taped
yeah,
up. And I think he changed his cleats during one of the stoppages. And I guess one thing we didn't even discuss prior to if we were going to talk about this, but Joseph said that he almost retired.
yeah, that was
Um,
something huge. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, that was something that really was unexpected for him to say. Knowing him, his attitude and like, he's not a player that it really did got complicated with that because I heard something he had like many surgeries like in like a short amount of time. So yeah, I definitely see why like you'll have like that kind of doubt in your mind, whether you really want to keep on going or risk your own body basically.
So he think he got hurt last February. What? Yeah, February 29th. I think that was
Yeah.
in Nashville, and then he had to wait for his surgery to um, for the inflammation to go down. He gets the surgery, but he has to wait for COVID. Everything was shutting down at this time, so it was technically an elective surgery. I think it wasn't a priority, so I think they got him to Pittsburgh. I know he did. I got a surgery in Pittsburgh, and I think he had like two or three surgeries then. Like I think he had two in a short time then. But then, from my understanding, is that he had another surgery in December, which is almost 8 months later, 9 months later, he has another surgery. So when you have a surgery on the same body part, that makes it even harder to recover. So if he was already recovering, then had another minor surgery from them, I could see why he had to be real frustrated. But he was ready for camp in February. So whatever he had done in February or in December, I mean that it must not have been too major to be able to be ready for camp and working out with the squad. So power to this guy, but I think it really puts in perspective on where he's gone in the past year and a half now. Everything that he has, because it's been curious on why it's been so rough for him when you see some other guys with that exact same injury at that year mark be you know close to recovery, but now he's still getting there. So but now if you think about his last surgery, I mean that's we're 9 months in basically to his last surgery. So
Hey, the
um
the the only thing that is really important, man, is that he's back on the field and he's scoring for Atlanta, man. That's thankfully for the fans, for the club, and for the whole Atlanta United organization that they have him back, because honestly, I feel like Atlanta United, without Joseph, man, that would be a huge. I mean, you saw it last year, man. We nothing, man. No goals, nothing. There was absolutely no offensive power without Joseph. I mean, like the guy runs the offense basically, Um, but thankfully, for the whole organization, it didn't really came down to that.
yeah, and there's not many teams out there that you could say that it's basically one player. The one player sets the swagger or sets the tempo of the team. That's Joseph Martinez. And Joseph Martinez is what made me fall in love with soccer. Never, I told you before, I didn't watch soccer until Atlanta United, and seeing Joseph and seeing just how he acted, just funny. I mean, he did the cool man, dropping the cigarette after scoring that goal. I was like, oh man, like that is fantastic. We haven't seen
Like
that.
the
He hasn't done
man
that
really
since
like
MLS Cup.
he really does like have like a special connection with people, man. Like I've noticed, and like I know you've seen it on Twitter as well. Like like the love this man gets, like the local artist that painted that painting of him with the King of Spades, and I was like, holy crap, dude. And I've seen other stuff with like people like doing crazy like, you know, artistic stuff, you know, and like even the murals painted around the city and stuff like that of him. And you know, like the guy really is Don said something in a couple episodes before when he did something with you, that he said that he is the face of Atlanta sports, you know, as much as people don't see it that way, or you know, because soccer is, you know, more, you know, is not as viewed probably, you know, obviously as football and basketball, but you know, in Atlanta United they have had that, you know, person where, you know, they is, like I said, the face of the whole organization, the whole Atlanta United sports. But um you read something with the whole MLS player association with the situation with Heinz, and you know, with them getting extra days off and getting money as well?
Yeah, it was confirmed everything that partially the reason why Heinze was fired was that because he wasn't following the rules. And um, you know, they haven't really got into it too much, but you know, the players get some extra money out of this. And I know Tata Martino got fined for something very similar um, early on, you know, with Atlanta United too. But you could see, I think this is all for the better. I know there's some Heinze people, and there's some players that really love Heinze too. You still see some players in interviews. Alan Franco said that
Hmm.
you
It
know,
was
that
tough for
he
like the
thought he
whole
was done
locker
wrong.
room. Yeah.
Yeah, that he thought he was done wrong, and maybe he was. You know, there's going to be a really good, you know, little 20 for 20 story or something that's going to be made down the line about what really happened here. But you look at what Atlanta United is prior to Heinze, or current during Heinze era, and where we are now. I think the club, you know, the club wants to sell the players. They want to sell everything. And with Heinze, he didn't like players. I don't think he allowed videos to be out there or record videos where you could see the players practicing and goofing off.
Yeah, that a lot of that stuff got, yeah, the whole media coverage like during practices and stuff like that. And you noticed it right off the bat, because the day after he left, you know, we started getting all these pictures like from training videos and stuff like that. So yeah, that definitely, that's something that, you know, and if they found, you know, stuff to be true, is because there was serious stuff, you know, with like the whole water scandal too. So uh, the accusations obviously were, you know, bad, but I mean, there was stuff obviously, you know, to where they could have backed it up, and I guess they found out it was true. So I mean, it is what it is now. But the only thing that it really matters, you know, we, you know, picked up Rob, and you know, he has turned out to be, you know, a good head coach for the moment, or a good interim coach for the moment. You know, the relationship that he has with a lot of the players, including Joseph, he said himself that, you know, him and Rob, you know, have had like a good relationship for many years now. So um you look at it, and you know, I feel like tonight, you know, is his last game. I feel like the players themselves are gonna, you know, try to, you know, give him that last game, so where, you know, like a thank you, you know, because I don't know what happened during the whole Heinz's scandal or whatever, specifically inside the locker room, obviously, but you know, you feel like, you know, they just really weren't connected as a person, you know, like between the coach and the player, to where you see that with Rob and the guys. You know, I heard he took him out to like dinner out there in Columbus like a couple of days before the game, which I don't know if that's true or not, but you know, I heard that was a rumor I heard. And you know, like you don't see really like either coaches or a lot of players in between them, you know, like having that camaraderie, you know, in between them basically.
Yeah, and I, Rob, for all that Rob is, he's not an MLS coach. And Rob, as far as tactics wise, I don't think he's doing anything extravagant. I think that there's some guys out there that can make this team better, but Rob has held it down told these guys to have some fun. They've had some fun. Now you got a guy coming in that doesn't have head coaching experience, but he's got more coaching experience than Rob does. So him coming in, he's going to put some tweaks onto this team, and he's going to make he's going to be able to hopefully make this team better. He wants the same thing that everybody else does on this team, and he wants to have a culture, and he wants to have everything moving forward. You listen to his press conference; he talks about Atlanta United too. He's already, I mean, he's sitting in his hotel room with with COVID right now. He's got nothing else to do. He's watching the twos games. He's talking about the twos. You got a guy that's coming in that this is his first head coaching job. He doesn't want to mess it up. He knows what this team has gone through over the past 2 years with Frank de Boer and Heinze. So you can't come in any worse than what has happened over the past year and 2 years. The first year with Frank, I think with a roster, it was really impossible for anybody to really screw that up. But now, you've got a team and you've got a talent. You've got the most transfer fees in the league, the highest salary in the league. You have to win, and I think they have to win now. I don't think that. I think they have to expect. I know they're not going to put any expectations on the rest of the season, and I think that's wrong to do to him. But they're looking at this team and saying, "We're handing you a fantastic car here.
I
Drive it."
mean, he said it himself. I mean, he's got the right pieces to work with, and they Atlanta United, gave him the tools. I feel like next year, we might have other big names coming up. Other than Almada, I don't know, but or depending on who we end up selling right now or at the end of the year, it really depends on how the transfers go, but he definitely has the talent in the squad right now. Next year, obviously, I feel like the expectations are obviously going to be higher, way higher. He's definitely going to have these last couple of months of this year, and then couple of the first 2 months of next year to work with the guys. So yeah, man, we'll definitely see what the rest of the season holds. I mean, I see personally them getting at least seven. That last spot, I see Atlanta United getting, hopefully, so they can have a good, decent run on, hopefully in the playoffs at least.
Well, I'm full of predictions. We're going to finish 5. We're going to finish in the 5th spot, and tonight we're going to win 2-1. That's my predictions.
I was
Write it
saying
down.
3-0. I was saying 3-0 tonight, but we'll see, man. That's more of like my fan of part that the 3-0, but I see more likely, yeah, like a 2-1 or even a 3-1. But
We don't
hopefully,
beat Toronto.
all that matters, man, is that win and the 3 points. That's all it really comes down to. It don't matter how we win or how we do it. It just comes down to getting the 3 points and moving on to the next one.
Toronto and Red Bulls are the teams that we have a very hard time beating. So it'd be nice to see them beat Toronto. I think maybe it was last year. I think we finally beat Toronto. I don't remember one of these times we finally beat them at home. But I think I think we're gonna win tonight. Yeah, we'll see. We'll talk next week, and if we don't talk before Saturday, we're gonna beat DC 1-0.
I hope, man. I hope. I got a lot of DC friends, and they always like to talk trash. But yeah, man, we'll get that win. That's all that matters, man. Well, Tony, thank you for your time, man. We'll see you next time, hopefully, and take care, man. Have a good one, and enjoy that win today, because we're gonna get that win.
Yep, the streaks of the defeated will be heard.
All right, man. All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate the time, Tony.
See ya.
All
Bye.
right.